What is the most magical experience you've ever had at the movies?
Yeah, so for me, it's The Dark Knight from 2008, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, and many, many other more really great actors, and some of which you didn't even expect. But I think what is so magical to me about that movie theater experience was so much leading up to it. You gotta remember, Batman Begins came out in 2005 and it was a huge hit. Everyone was super excited. It was like, okay, Batman is back. It's grounded, it's gritty, it really honors the spirit of how dark a Batman movie could be because before that we had Batman and Robin, which was just a little too cartoonish, even for me. Now, looking back on it, I can watch Batman and Robin and not get annoyed, but only because I think we have the Dark Knight trilogy now, and so it'd be a nice juxtaposition between the two tones. But the ending of the Batman Begins, you have Commissioner Gordon giving him the calling card, as they say, and it's the Joker. And so it was like, okay, so the next one's gonna have Joker. And so then it was announced that okay, we're gonna do the Dark Knight. Heath Ledger is going to be the Joker, which everyone kind of was like, huh? But okay, it's gonna be a Batman movie. It's gonna be Christopher Nolan. It's gonna be Christian Bale. So, okay, cool. And then we started hearing the stories of how amazing Heath Ledger's performance is turning out to be. So even that started getting hype early on in filming and even in post production. And then tragedy struck, and in January he passed of 2008 he passed away. And so all of a sudden it's like this young, talented, good-looking actor who's he before this was a Brokeback Mountain, which really made people like sit back and like, oh, this guy is more than just a pretty face. He's actually really, really charismatic and has depth to him. And okay, here's somebody to watch. And then, right as everyone was hearing what an amazing performance he was delivering for The Dark Knight, we lose him. And so all of that going in, and then the summer of 2008 hits, and it's like, all right, now everyone's going to see, not only anticipating the sequel to Batman Begins, but also wondering, okay, so what is this performance that everyone keeps talking about that Heath Ledger gives? And everything from the opening, like the overture, of The Dark Knight, the bank robbery that is orchestrated by the Joker, and then you start hearing rumblings of like who this guy is that planned this bank robbery, and oh, he puts paint on, kind of like war paint, and then it all kind of unfolds, and then the reveal when he takes off, the mask during the robbery, and then you see what he looks like, and it's like, wow. And just hearing his voice too, I think that was something that doesn't get talked about enough. Everyone talks about the performance in general, the ideology, and just how believable he is. But I think the sound of his voice is something that also kind of made people feel uncomfortable in the right way. And just seeing how everything is from the composition to the evolution of Batman, Christian Bale's Batman, and his role in Gotham City and how it's affecting the organized crime world. It's so great. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying anything that nobody has ever said before, but the feeling that I had watching the movie in the movie theater in that dark space with all those different people, because the movie theater was packed, is how did he do it? How did Christian Bale pull, not Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan, how did he pull this off? I know he's a great filmmaker. I loved everything he's done up until then, and I really love Batman Begins. But I just kept getting more and more thunderstruck about how the level just keeps getting. I mean, even in the cinematography, if you go back and look at Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, the Batman Begins movie, you see there's a lot of close-ups, and it's pretty straightforward how he does it, and there's not a lot of focus on the world. But with The Dark Knight, he started using a little bit more of IMAX cameras. And so now it's more the depth of field. So you see way more of the city, you see way more in the background. And it just feels way more immersive, I feel. Batman Begins feels personal because it really is of, how Bruce Wayne becomes Batman. But now he's living as Batman. And now you have to also kind of see, like, okay, so what world is he living in? So that was also great. And then the other thing that I just keep going back to is the score. It's the first time I remember a score being done by two different composers that I've never really noticed that with more than one person has put together the music. And it's Hans Zimmer and James Howard Newton. And I just remember that because, like, it's unique. It's so distinctive. Like, every scene that has the Joker in it had a very specific tension-filled music. That, it's like you're already feeling like, uh-oh, something is gonna happen. Like, I particularly remember the scene where he has that confrontation with one of the mob bosses played by Michael Jai White, which is a nice little add-on because I'm a big martial arts movie guy, and Michael Jai White is just one of the legends. And so when you hear like that tension-filled music, it's like, uh-oh, how's this gonna go down? So it starts to build the suspense in you already, which is great. And just the very epic kind of music that Hans Zimmer is known for, particularly in the highway chase scene when Harvey Dent is being transported and then he's also being chased by the Joker and his goons. So all of that is just perfect. It's one of the perfect movies ever, especially in my lifetime, and so that's one of those movies I wish I can go back and watch for the first time in the movie theater. Anyways, what about you guys? Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.